Alright, so today I'm going to run through my workout routine. I am going to check the connections on the base unit here because I do have two young children, so this is super loose right now. I don't think that's loosening by itself. I think it's my kids that are loosening it. I think it probably loosens by itself to some extent. This does continue to come off, so you'll probably see I'm going to do my 2,000 meter row, and you'll probably see me sliding that back up a good bit. So that's something that I just wanted to kind of demonstrate what is my normal routine. I don't always check all of the connection points on this, but somebody did comment that it was slopping around a bit with the loose connection, so I wanted to make sure that I tightened up all the knobs. So everything's sort of reset into its proper position. I'm going to start up the app. One other frustrating thing is that the app and the connection to the device is not always great. So that can sort of be weird sometimes. So I usually throw on a YouTube video while I work out, and so now I have the app going, and I'm gonna actually record my screen because so most of the complaints are pretty minor, and this one is as well. But yeah, that's sort of one thing is, and so I'll oftentimes throw on my AirPods because listening to anything over the listening to anything through the regular, even I have home pods, it still doesn't sound, the sound doesn't come through on the TV as much, so the AirPods are kind of the best way to actually watch something and listen to it at the same time. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and jump into this 2,000 meter row. At the same time, I'm going to also do a screen recording. So let's see how this goes.
So the main thing I want you to keep an eye on here is the disconnect from the pace that I'm setting, which is mostly in the minute 30-second range for per 500 meters. But as you, over the course of this workout, look at my projected time and look at the time elapsed, there's sort of complete misalignment with that. Now I'm used to seeing for that metric the average, and this sort of appears to be an instant pace as opposed to an average, so that could be it. However, and still the calculations are kind of wrong, because if I'm consistently holding a minute 30 to a minute 40 pace, this workout should end up being somewhere between 6 and 7 minutes. But we shall see if that is not the case for this. So keep a close eye on that. I'm going to also pop up messages when the rubber piece pops off, like it's happening right there. You'll see that I'm going to keep count of when the rubber piece either pops off or when I need to preemptively adjust it, because I can tell that it's about to pop off. So you can keep an eye on that throughout this workout, and you'll see that it happens a number of times. It affects my workout in a minor way. I'm not trying to compete for time, so it's not a huge deal, but it is one of the major flaws in the design of this when using the double R pulley with the row setup. Now, it took about 6 seconds for me to get set up with this workout, but you'll see I'm about to cross over the 500 meter mark, and it took 2 minutes 6 seconds on the timer here of time elapsed. So that would mean that I did about 2 minutes for that first 500 meters, when the majority of that appears to have been spent with a minute 20 to minute 40 in my 500 meter pace. So that is a red flag. You can see that it's really sort of calibrated wrong. I don't know which metric is wrong for sure, but for me, I would say it could possibly be that 500 meter pace, because in the past, I've been able to do a minute 20 or so for 500 meter paces, but it's really only for very short bursts. So it seems like the measurement for that is incorrect. But also, that's not all. So if you continue to keep an eye on this, you'll notice that the 500 meter pace is misaligned with the total time and total meters rowed. It's sort of like a lot of these metrics are in complete misalignment, and that will become really apparent at the end of this workout. The projected time seems to be a direct product of the 500 meter pace, so you'll see that that sort of drastically swings when I have to make an adjustment to the rubber piece, or like I took my hand off there, you'll see that my pace jumped up for a second. So it does seem to directly be a product of that 500 meter pace, and it doesn't actually take into account the time elapsed and the distance remaining in projecting that. Because right now we're about to cross over the 4-minute mark, and we have like just under 1,000 meters rowed, so we still have two 500 meter segments to go. So it's saying that I'm going to complete this workout in another 2 minutes. So it makes no sense, and I think this is not a huge complaint. Like I said earlier, this is not completely necessary for being able to get an effective workout, but it does impact, your ability to compare this to other devices or actually rowing on the water. So I think they need to figure this out, and this is really a software thing, that they need to calibrate this software to be more refined and correct, because it's not even accurately comparing to itself. So to compare this with something like the Concept 2, the Concept 2 is consistently measuring your 500 meter pace and your projected finish time when you set a meter's goal. So, that's something that is a knock on this device in particular. So far, I've been going through a lot of my complaints with using the Whipr, but overall, I still really enjoy this device. It is a fantastic workout. I am basically doing a 2,000 meter row every morning, and that is my baseline of a workout. And I oftentimes do some extra push-ups or other workouts throughout the day, but I try to start my day with my 2,000 meter workout on the Whipr. And it's fantastic. It really works, even though I know that the calibration of the metrics for the app are not perfect. It doesn't really matter to me. I at least have something that I can look at with that 500 meter pace, and I can sort of shoot for in my head, trying to really target that, holding that to that 1 minute 30 seconds. Now, I do wish they would update the firmware and address this issue, and I think they will. It's, a relatively new product, so I think that this is going to be fixed, and they're going to have the app and the screen on the device look more accurate. So I'm not overly concerned with that. The main thing is, do I have the resistance that I feel I need in order to get a good workout? And at the end of this, you'll hear me breathing. A 2,000 meter workout is not a really crazy workout, but it's a really good kind of baseline workout. And this does get me breathing. I am doing a faster pace than I probably normally do, just because I wanted to show this discrepancy between the projected time, then the time elapsed, and the meters remaining. So we are coming to that point where you see we are starting to see some really bad misalignment. So my projected time is now below the time elapsed. So of course that makes no sense, and that's where this becomes really apparent, obviously, is when this workout is not done, and this is saying I'm going to finish this in 5 minutes 50 seconds, but I'm almost to 8 minutes of time elapsed in this workout. So I mean, there's no real arguing. This software is wrong. But again, it's not a huge deal. It's not the end of the world. You don't necessarily need this. You can track your workouts in different ways. This is one tool for tracking your workouts. So don't look at this and say, hey, this doesn't work at all. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I know that there's a lot of people who do want to quantify all of their workouts. I do have a tendency to do a few pulls after I've actually finished the workout, because it doesn't actually go automatically to open row. It just stops the workout and saves it. So that is what I was doing there.
So that was just a relatively quick pace. I'll probably do some voice track to talk through what I'm seeing that's a little bit weird. So I'll follow up in the editing process with that. So, but it's a great workout. It works great for me. This is actually my second bass unit. This one's the one that's been used a lot yet less. It did for a little bit of time not pop off, but over time it didn't really take that long for this rubber gasket, grommet, I don't know what you call it, but this rubber piece started coming off over time. So I think that's my biggest complaint. You'll probably have noticed I'm pushing up on it. It popped off a couple of times, but I'm also throughout the workout needing to push that back up into place. So, but overall, I still love this thing. I'll probably talk through some more of my comments and concerns on the voice track during the workout that I'm going to show on the screen. So, thanks for watching. Make sure sHapnin on that like button. It really helps with the almighty algorithm. And drop any questions, comments below for video follow-ups. I will be putting out a follow-up that goes over some things and items that a viewer did ask about. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I can get to recording that today and editing that today as well. So again, thanks for watching.